Welcome back, everyone. God bless you all in Jesus' name. Tonight we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to have a look at some of the late-night talk show hosts that promote these celebrities to us. They're also bastions of morality. We're starting out here with Jon Stewart, who champions for the 9/11 firemen and will give speeches before Congress. But could Jon Stewart possibly be an Illuminist, an occultist, a member of the secret societies, even a Freemason? We'll look at that, and we'll look at some of the other hosts as well, and you decide. So obviously we're starting off here with Jon throwing up blatant one-eyed symbolism, a reference to the Eye of Horus in the occult. As anyone knows, when you leave the Blue Lodge of Freemasonry, you go into either the York Rite or the Scottish Rite. And when you do, your degree work, as you go into more and more revelation of light, as you would say, you give praise, honor, and worship to Babylonian, Egyptian, Roman, and Persian gods. Until, of course, you know at the top who it is you really serve. From the same photo shoot, just a different pose this time, a different angle, exact same thing, unmistakable, as clear-cut as it gets in terms of the evidence we try to show you here on the channel. And then there is also this photograph, which upon first glance looks like nothing, but I have been cataloging this particular pose by the celebrities in Hollywood who throw up all the other gang signs. And it is, once you see it, you realize it is quite odd. Merely as examples, here is actress Phoebe Cates doing it. We have Alex Kapranos also doing it. John Lennon of the Beatles, who does a lot of the other symbolism, doing it. And musician Tom Waits, who throws up a lot of occult symbolism. We're dealing with people who got their start with The Daily Show with Jon Stewart right off the bat. So here's John Oliver, also, who he has his own nightly talk show. And he's doing, again, clear as day, less ambiguous than many of the poses we see. With the one-eyed symbolism, Eye of Horus. It's a photo like this with the montage where I'm really grateful, actually, that they constantly throw these signs and symbols up, making it so easy for us who do the research. So we're just going to go through the different photographs here and show you just how much is here that you probably would have looked past before. So we'll start with this photograph on the left where he's crossing his fingers, which a lot of times we'll associate this with, the tradition of putting your hands behind your back, maybe when you're telling a lie. But this comes from a man named Leon Seltzer, a PhD, who wrote an article over at Psychology Today, actually. And in it, he says, witches cross their fingers to focus their energy and convey their possession of demonic powers. The word John Oliver in the occult, which I think we're showing is in the affirmative, it may very well mean that. So here we see him in the bottom left, pointing upward. Now, if he were in the Brotherhood of Freemasonry, this sign would mean something different than what it might mean to you or I, especially if we thought that somebody was a believer in Christ. But this is known in Masonry as the sign of preservation. And the photograph you're seeing is actually of a statue at a Masonic lodge in Wisconsin. And finally, in this photo shoot, we also get treated to the vow of silence, which is something that they do to remind other initiates who are in the occult, who are in the Brotherhood, to keep their mouth shut, essentially. And there were these statues of Harpocrates outside of the temple of Isis and Serapis that St. Augustine noticed in his time. And actually, Harpocrates is the Greco-Roman version of Horus. So we can get through these quickly. We're going to do Stephen Colbert, who's doing one-eyed symbolism here. Doing the demonic tongue and the devil horns. This is who he's brought to you by. Uncle Sam, it's who I am, been hiding out in a rock and roll band. Standing in front of a mask of the devil. You know, were he in the Brotherhood of Satanism, as an example, this would be a reference to the phallus. As we zoom in, we see a 666 with his hand. Here he is doing more one-eyed symbolism with his eyeglasses. And yet again, more subtle one-eyed symbolism for you on the cover of Rolling Stone. And lastly, from the Catholic comedian Stephen Colbert, we have more of the demonic tongue manifestation and the sign of the horns, devil horns. Next, we cross the ocean to the United Kingdom. This is a talk show host by the name of Graham Norton. You may see his videos sometimes here on YouTube. First off, he's doing the sign of a master of the second veil in Freemasonry, the so-called hidden hand. Also, were Graham a Freemason, he wouldn't just be tugging on his coat, but this would actually be a sign of a most excellent master mason. Here he is very clearly intentionally doing one-eyed symbolism with the mask of the Oscars. And finally with the mascot for the BBC's Children in Need, where it's a little teddy bear with a bandage over his eyeball. And I've seen all of these celebrities, especially from over in the UK, who throw up all the occult signs and symbols, who then help to promote this particular charity. Your world is frightening, and it's time to come out of it. Snap out of it. Next, we have David Letterman, who's doing the one-eyed symbolism on the cover of one of his, I suppose, one of his old VHS tapes. And we also have him doing what appears to be nothing at first, but if he were a Freemason, if David Letterman were, this would be known as the Secret Monitor, Grand Pontiff pose that he would be striking on the cover of Esquire magazine. And lastly, but not least, this particular pose I have seen so many different times. I've shown it to you in the video of Jim Caviezel before, and then there are all these other celebrities that do this exact same pose. It's not just some random by chance pose that they're doing. Let's have a look at Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien doing the one-eyed symbolism and also drawing your attention to a pagan goddess, a cufflink on his arm. Here is Conan striking in a couple of poses the pyramid with his hands. You know, this is another way they like to do it. We also have the vow of silence from him here, reference to Harpocrates, and also here. Same thing, clear as day. Right here we see him striking a pose of warning. This is a penalty sign pose that they'll do on their chin to remind initiates that they'll be slit from ear to ear should they start talking. Just an innocent pose or something more. I tell you, I've been looking at this stuff for a long time. With his legs, they like to do this. They like to insert it in all kinds of artistic and in really covert ways. Pyramid. He's doing the pyramid with his legs. And last but not least, the Joker, Conan O'Brien. If we were to zoom in on him being on the electric chair here, we take a look at his hand, and he's throwing up the 666. The sign of success in Hollywood. That's how you make it. I wouldn't advise it, but that's how you make it. We have the comedian and talk show host Bill Maher doing the devil horns here, and once again during one of his performances. There's Jimmy Fallon. There's a reason why a man with little talent is so loved. One-eyed symbolism. Here's the Masonic penalty pose. Again. More one-eyed symbolism. More reference to Horus. Right here. You have the vow of silence. Harpocrates, once again. And you see it again. Right here. Same thing. Keep quiet. And also a photograph that seems like nothing at first, but he's actually putting up the Masonic triad claw on his hip. You'll see your world leaders doing this. You'll see it in official oil paintings of many of the members of the royal families doing this throughout history. And finally, we have this chalice pose, which I'm not going to go over again in this video and show you all the other examples of people doing it, but I've covered it in many of my other videos. Here is Trevor Noah, who took over Jon Stewart's slot. One-eyed symbolism. Because this is demonic, our enemy is demonic, you got the tongue issue. And also here he's striking up a little pyramid with his hands. Those here stateside will not know who this is most likely, but this is a man named Patrick Sebastian. He was a TV host for many of France's variety shows over the years. And here he is, doing clear as day one-eyed symbolism. Are you starting to recognize that they're all part of a club? And what's the mission of that club? To brainwash you, to basically influence your thinking so that the agenda they want to impose upon the world is all the more easy to push on us. If you found this video useful today, educational, check out some other videos from this series, Are They Illuminati? By clicking down below. You can also subscribe to my channel this way. Again, God bless you in Jesus' name.